Hey, good afternoon, Facebook followers. This is Loukadakis, your government relations manager. Here with me is our CEO, John Luther. And today we're going to switch things up a little bit. Typically what we do at the end of the week, and we're in week 5 of Governor John Bel Edwards' stay-at-home order. And at the end of the week, what we do is provide our members with a list of information and developments that have come out throughout the week. So today we're just going to do this over video. Yesterday what we did was we held a very informative webinar for our members, and we pulled our chief economist from DC, Dr. Rob Dietz, to give us an inside look at what's going on with the economy and where we can expect it to be later on this year. So we had 100 participants in our webinar yesterday. We learned a lot. John, do you want to tell me a couple of the big takeaways you took from it?
Yeah, thanks, Evan. Ironically, I think you and I came away with the same impressions, and we didn't even speak about it until earlier. And I think the big one is that, you know, quarters 2 and 3 and probably a portion of quarter 4 in 2020 are going to be rough. You know, it's going to be some seriously tough sailing. But there looks like there could be hope, you know, into 2021. Something you and I deal with all the time on the government relations piece and the lobbying piece is that we already went into this, you know, this epidemic, this pandemic, with just a grave shortage of housing, particularly housing that is price point, you know, for our working class and, you know, our teachers and you know, our law enforcement and, you know, those types. So this will compound that unless and until we can keep working through it as we have been as quote unquote essential, you know, industry. So that's the main thrust of what I got from Dr. Dietz, who did a phenomenal job.
Right. Yeah, I know everyone was very appreciative to have his expertise and listen to what he had to say. Also this week, another big development happened was the Congress passing what they're calling Stim 3.5. So what this does is essentially replenishes the PPP and EIDL programs. The very popular PPP program is getting a $310 billion boost. The EIDL program is getting a $60 billion boost. And then also included in that package were carve-outs for hospitals and coronavirus testing. So hospitals are getting about $75 billion and testing is getting about $25 billion. So that was the main goal for this one, for this package. What they're looking at in the future for what's going to be called Stim 4 is to perhaps expand the availability of all these different kinds of loan programs. And John, I know the first round kind of went pretty quickly and left a lot of people hanging, asking when am I going to get my shot at the pot of money. And I know a lot of our members want to take advantage of it, and hopefully they can get in throughout this round.
Yeah, you know, Evan, ironically, right after Hurricane Katrina, we found that so many of the different federal programs, whether through FEMA or, you know, CDBG money through different agencies, it took so long for it to hit the ground. And, you know, and so it took us weeks and months until we were able to gain any kind of momentum because that money was essentially literally coming from DC. So I was excited, you know, for maybe not the greatest word, but I was, you know, feeling that this would be a more efficient way to get money onto the, you know, into our members, you know, accounts more efficiently by having a lot of our local community lending institutions or other types of financial institutions being able to lend the money directly here. And then they get reimbursed, so to speak, from the SBA. So it's a much more direct route to get money into the street much more quickly and efficiently. Well, it's been a mixed bag, frankly. I think there's been so much demand for it, and our local lenders had to ramp up so quickly to take on so much business that I think we hit a lot of different snags, including the ultimate one is we ran out of money, as you mentioned, or the, you know, the programming ran out of money. And frankly, what what passed Congress here, the last day or so, and what the president's going to sign, there's a lot of already people that have markers out for that money. So we're going to have to continue to be creative in the HBA as to how we're trying to direct and guide our member companies to continue to look for those different types of resources out there. One thing that's not being spoken about, at least in my orbit a lot, is employee retention tax credits. And those, you'll realize or get to see later on, of course, in your tax year. So I think we should put some focus on that as well. And in that regard, your accountant, your CPA, are going to be your best friends. But that they can serve the same purpose. If you're trying to retain employees, you'll later on, at the conclusion of your tax year, be able to get, look at some tax credits coming through that way. As we continue to explore, PPP and EIDL and some of these other direct lending programs.
Right. The business tax credit hasn't really been touted as much because all the focus is on the PPP and EIDL program. Again, we're just encouraging our members to get ready to apply and just really push and try their best to get some relief from these programs. And I know, John, we're going to continue to push as much relevant information out to our members and the general public. We've gotten a lot of feedback just from non-members on all the information we've been putting out. So we'll continue doing our best there. And then next week we'll have more information coming out. Is there anything else you think we need to highlight?
I think we're all locally and statewide and nationally talking about how we are going to reopen business. I know, folks are in desperate straits, many at this point. And so we're trying to obviously, take that nuanced approach, the maintenance of health and safety, but at the same time, how do we get some of these other businesses open? I know a lot of us through our organization are, participating in some fashion with advising, these different entities that they're developing reopening plans. I know a lot of people want to put everything in place on May 1, and I don't know if that's realistic, but it is realistic, I think, for us to be able to achieve some measure of health balance with getting some more businesses open. As we talked about at the beginning of this program, we have been, characterized, we in the residential construction industry, as an essential industry, an essential, to the foundation of what we're doing. And so we're continuing to work as such, but we still need all the other different types of ancillary and supportive businesses out there operating and running, because that, of course, was what makes a healthy local and state and national economy. So we'll continue to update everybody, all of our HBA Greater New Orleans members and subscribers. We'll continue to update them on some of these reopening measures, because I know May 1 is a date a lot of people are looking at, and then you have some stay-at-home orders that are extending in other parts till May 15 and beyond maybe, but we're going to try to keep our finger on the pulse of that, so as if we can glean any kind of information for our members that will be advantageous for them to get their businesses open, we will certainly do that.
Very good. Yeah, we're thankful to be considered an essential service. It's also the right thing to do because of what we provide to our communities. All right, folks, I think that about wraps everything up here for this week. We'll continue to do these as we progress forward. And like I said, keep you all updated on all the relevant information and trying to help you all guide your businesses through this unprecedented time. So thank you all. John, if you have any last words.
I just, again, want to thank all of our members on behalf of Dorothy Stanich, our HBA president, who's doing a phenomenal job. I mean, it's always difficult when something like this happens, on your watch, and Dorothy has done a phenomenal job for us. So thank you, Dorothy, and all of our board. Everybody's working hard. We're working really hard for the membership, because we understand that, the lifeblood of our membership are small businesses, and small businesses, frankly, have been hit, worse than anybody in this pandemic. So So God bless everybody and stay well. And we're just gonna keep doing what we do. So thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Great.